Hey, Quants. Just gonna do a quick video here and catch up on the market since I've been out for the holidays. I think I did come back and do a brief video, but haven't followed up on that one. And there has been some decent movement in the market. Previously, I was covering the price of silver mostly. That seemed to be the most interesting thing, but crypto has started to move a little bit in the first quarter, Q1 of the new year. And so let's take a look at that real quick. First of all, I am running a new setup just for testing it out. It's the same machine that I was using before, but I installed Linux on this machine and I wanted to kind of test it out. I've noted that a lot of individuals who run Linux as their daily driver still prefer Windows when they're doing their recording software because of specific issues, generally not being able to produce as high of quality videos. So I'm going to be testing that out. I noticed that my camera, although I have a good camera, and I think the resolution of the camera will come out pretty well. I think I squished my face down here quite a bit, so before it was probably a little bit bigger and over on the right side, but I haven't put the halo and all that kind of stuff around there, so not really too concerned about that stuff. It's really not that important in terms of the content anyways, and I don't want to spend a ton of time setting this up because there was some things with my new computer that, newer computer that broke that I need to work on fixing, and so I have other things I need to get to today besides just figuring out video quality. So things will probably look a little bit different, but hopefully the actual content in terms of the video recording and the ability to hear my voice will come out clearly. So first of all, let's jump into what's happening on BTC. It looks like on the 3rd, we did get that cross. That was on a Saturday. So again, I've mentioned this before with the master strategy. If you're following that, the 821 will repaint until the daily close. And so you really need to wait until the daily close for confirmation of that being confirmed. And so we got that confirmed there. And so that was at about 90,600. And we are currently sitting at 94,000, which is a nice little jump in price there. So of course, when these signals happen, I'm looking for more than just that. Is it? I don't have do I have my magnet on? Doesn't seem. Yeah, it looks like the magnet's. Yeah, there we go. Magnet is on. So anyways, about 3.7% here in terms of current price action. I've mentioned multiple times that I'm looking for price to kind of track up here to the 200s and get that 200 touch. So that's a 10% move up to the about 100,000. As I mentioned before, there was a good chance that those 200s were going to keep coming down, and they did. And so we have one sitting at 100,000, 200 EMA. The 200 SMA is 17% away at 106,000. And so with the way price action is looking right now, if we get this close where it is now, it's going to look like we did get a pretty solid break out of that the kind of channel here, just a box channel here. The other thing that I kind of like looking at this, so I've mentioned the Mexican peak pattern before in the context of Gann swing trading. It is one of the most reliable patterns I found, and that is essentially an ascending triangle. And so although this is, not necessarily ascending triangle the way that I have it drawn here, if you're looking at the pivot lows for the Gann swing indicator, touch here, touch here, touch here, you draw a line across that way, and then a solid line across here. This looks like it could be a break of an ascending triangle. And so that, would look fairly bullish. So now that I'm thinking about it, you could, if you want to have the counter side of that, if you were drawing it that way, you could say that it looks like a flag pattern, upside down flag pattern, in which case you'd expect it to break out to the opposite direction. But as it stands right now, that's not necessarily, that's using the lows and not necessarily the closes, and so I wouldn't particularly want to draw it that way myself. So since I don't feel too bad about drawing it that way or calling it out that way in the context of Gann, because I'm using the Gann swing indicator in the context of the Mexican peak pattern, in the context of GAN trading, and so those are all kind of in the same ecosystem, right? And so I feel those, just personal opinion, that those tend to go together, right? Or I feel like those kind of go together as opposed to just a straight up chart pattern. So I did update this. I did intend to write some code, so this will update automatically, which I just haven't gotten around to yet. And so it's a fairly easy update, but I'll probably end up doing that just so that I can get this kind of drawn on here automatically. It's simple enough to update myself, and so that's what I just did. So right now we have the 821 cross as the first bullish sign of the trend. And so now if you had shorts, this is one area where you might want to consider closing some shorts. Next things we're looking for are really bigger time frame things, which is getting the 200 cross, which won't happen for some time, and then also getting those sloping up, which could happen fairly quickly, especially on the EMA here. This could turn up quite quickly in just a few days. So if this week ends up bullish overall, by the time this gets up here to the 200s, if it takes a couple of days, I would not be surprised to see this already curved up, and then we're getting another bullish sign. With that said, that would just put us 50-50 in the market. So in terms of bullish bearish momentum there from this particular outlook on this strategy. So we'll see how that continues to play out. So everything looking good for Q1. If you're looking for some bullish price action, waiting to see if we get this close. I was a little, and to be fair, I am still a little bit hesitant about this because what we've seen many times before, even getting a close above the 90,000 here, this is 93 at 93,000, and it's still closed below. And so you'll see all these other ones that got above 93,000 and just closed below. And so if this tucks back down here and then closes below, then I will probably be expecting to see some downward price action before this goes up. So, but we'll see how that plays out. So the other thing, since I had been doing some silver price action, I figured it might be worth just taking a glance at silver real quick and seeing where that's at. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit here. So we're on the daily time frame. So daily time frame looks like we got a gap up on price. This has got the, do I have both painting here? I guess did I not save that before? All right. Well, so this is the 1 bar, and the 1 bar is showing, potentially you could have gotten out there. These are lower lows. So on the 1 bar, we're seeing a down, essentially setting in a downtrend, even though the price could just consolidate here. And so if we're looking at strictly I need to update this so that I have those separate and I can easily hide them without having to go into the settings. But anyways, these have all been, looks like we had a down bar here, but we're just kind of not getting a good, we're not getting consistent read on the 2 bar here. And so let's go back and take a look at the weekly, because that's how I prefer to look at it. Looks like we have a little bit of an indecision here. Again, gapped up a bit here, and then we're just seeing the price hang out here. So I have some alerts here to kind of give myself an idea when price might start trekking down on the weekly time frame. But as it stands, kind of just hanging out in potentially developing a range up at the high here. And so if we, to be fair, silver has not been bullish for that long. It did go crazy parabolic. And so I wouldn't be surprised time-wise to continue to see silver be bullish for a little while. But in the context of this, kind of crazy parabolic trend that I drew here, we could see some sideways price consolidation before we get all the way out to this parabolic trend here. And that was the other thing I was mentioning in terms of like protecting those profits, right? So if it does break down here, it could drop all the way down here and then technically still be in the context of a parabolic move and move way back up here. And that would just be ridiculous in terms of volatility, but that's how things can go in the market sometimes. So I wouldn't want to give up, 50% of those profits if it was going to do that and then still play out in this parabolic trend. So With that said, it looks like we're just potentially forming a little bit of a consolidation here. It's way too early to really tell because price, it's only been 2 candles since this last weekly candle. So in the context of a weekly time frame, we're going to need a few more weeks, which will just take a longer time to play out. And if Bitcoin and crypto start getting more exciting, I probably won't talk too much more about silver until it starts getting more exciting as well. And so going back to the daily time frame here, yeah. Not too much going on with silver, just a lot of not too much other than a lot of volatility. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to try and fix my computer, and I was going to, on Fridays, I had mentioned I would start trying to play some games, and I had been kind of sticking to that, and it seems like a lot of people really enjoyed those videos. I'm not sure if it's just because I did a Destiny 2 video, and Destiny 2 is a popular video game, or if it's because people were actually really liking that content. It was one of the highest viewing videos that I had with the most likes. And so I do want to continue doing that on Fridays. However, because I want to try and test out fully running a Linux system and just doing Linux, I mentioned this before, I really like the idea of Linux. I don't like the idea of paying for a Windows operating system or a computer with a Windows operating system, which essentially you end up paying for the operating system there, and then you get ads served to you on something you purchased. It's just like, I don't want to pay for something and then also see ads. It's kind of frustrating. So just in kind of a personal ethical thing there. And so from an ethics standpoint, so anyways, I like the idea of Linux. I'm going to probably play with a little bit of Linux a little bit more and see how this goes. I really am not sure. I might still record videos on Windows. Arc Raiders, that's what I wanted to get to in terms of video games. Arc Raiders is a game that I have not played yet, but I did set it up and it runs fine on Linux. And so I might do my video recording of Arc Raiders. In particular, since my face being on the screen is really not that important when I'm playing those video games, I might just run with Linux for a while and see how these videos perform, including these trading content videos. But I still have my old Windows setup, so if I need to go back there because things are not working out, then I'll end up doing that. But just kind of testing it out, see if I can go full on Linux and just get all the way away from Windows, which would be awesome. But I did notice already there are some applications, like the application with my camera, so I can't do all the software, lighting, and all that. There are settings in OBS, but I don't know if I really want to get into playing with that. So we'll see how the lighting on this stuff comes out and how that ends up looking. So hope everyone is doing well, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out, Quants.